Question is, if digital versions of yourselves were in a fighting video game, what abilities would you have?
My prime ability would be to belch people into oblivion.
This is true.
That's awesome.
I would lose.
That's really impressive.
If my digital character played your digital character.
Yeah.
Though my ability might be probably squealing, high-pitched squealing.
I would have the ability to talk as fast and as long as possible that would drive people insane.
Yeah.
That would be my special ability.
Okay.
Take that, Mortal Kombat. Everyone looks at me because I'm the director. There are different advantages and disadvantages to both. I don't think that either the engineer turned director or the actor turned director has an upper hand. Actors turned directors know how to talk to actors, so that's the advantage that we have. But then also a lot of us, we direct people who are later going to direct us. And so sometimes some of your own personal actor insecurities, you have to deal with those as a director, feeling that the person I'm directing is better than me at their job than I am at that job. So we have that to deal with. Whereas engineers turn directors, they don't care about that stuff. Like, I think when they get to direct, maybe they've been sitting on the other side of the table not having much input. They just sit there and click, click, and clean out our Nessie clicks and our voices and stuff. And then when they get to call the shots, they just dive in head first and love it. I think they kind of thrive in that environment once given that opportunity.
I can say I was just recently directed by my first engineer turned director versus an actor turned director or director, someone who's always directed. And it was kind of refreshing. Not that I'm saying, oh God, I don't ever want to be directed by an actor director again. It's just that it was very different. It was because a lot of times if you have a lot of acting experience and you've done this a lot, sometimes all you need is nudging in the right direction. And with an engineer, they know how to say things. An actor knows how to talk to an actor, and that's always great when you've got like a fellow, like a comrade you're working with or whatever. But an engineer somehow knows how to say things technically that just makes sense. And it almost felt like a more streamlined process, but maybe that's just because this guy was so blunt and direct.
Yeah.
But there was a definite difference. But I agree, I don't think there's an advantage one way or the other.
I would say that depending on the kind of place or the mood that the actor recording is in, that it would, because there are some times where you would really like having a actor that can talk to you, that kind of knows what you're dealing with. And there are some times where you're like, you know, let's just get to it, let's work, I know what I'm doing. So it just depends on the character, it depends on if you need an actor to kind of help give you tips on the character, if you're new to the character, or if, you know, you just want to make everything fit and move on. And so I guess it would just depend on, because I could see either way. Like, I would rather, for a certain character, have an actor direct me. I would rather an engineer direct me, just depending on, I guess, where I am in the show, how long I've worked on the show, and what the character is.
No. And my first audition was in February of '99. And it was very awkward. And all I had ever auditioned for really was theater. I'd auditioned for some, you know, TV, film, blah, 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 but, you know, in Houston, Texas, not so much. But so theater, and all of a sudden I'm put in this booth and the headphones are strapped to my head and I'm in front of this big microphone and there's all this paper in front of me with all this text, and there's a director and an engineer, and I'm like, and they're like, watch the scene, and then we're going to play it again, and you're going to talk, and then I'm hearing Japanese in my headphones, and it was very sort of disorienting, and I, thank God I landed the job, but I thought, for me, it was kind of overwhelming and weird. It was still, I don't know, it was overwhelming. Yeah, it really was. I was just like, wow, lots of input.
My answer's kind of two parts. I got the job in this industry while I was on a tour of the studio at Funimation. So we go into a room, my friend Nathaniel Harrison, he's the head of all the engineers at Funimation, and at the time had only worked there for maybe 6 months or something. He's just giving me a tour. So we go inside one of the studios. They happen to be not recording. I think they were just reviewing or something. So he's like, oh, this is the director. And when Eric hears that I'm an actor or in theater school, he's like, hey, get in the booth and say this line. Like, I don't know. I thought it was just, oh, she's on a tour and she's an actor. Let's let her say something. In the back of my head, I'm going, I should make a good impression. Don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. So I go in there, and all I have to say is, ugly creep, how about I mace you? That is the line, and it's a mental line for someone. There are no flaps or anything like that, so I say it maybe twice. And I come out, and he goes, that was great. Go give your name to Tara down the hall, and you can work here. And I was like, excuse me? And I kept asking him if I needed to go to my car and get my resume, because I had it. Like, do you want that? He's like, no, just, your voice is great. We need new people. We got this show with lots of characters. So, and like 3 days later, I was recording with Chris Sabat directing me in Case Closed. So, but I didn't know that that was an audition. Fast forward a few months, and I have my first real audition for a show called Spiral. And at the time, Funimation was really only known for like Dragon Ball. They'd done Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. They kind of got into Blue Gender, Fruits Basket, but it hadn't exploded yet. It wasn't, not every girl was wearing a Momiji hat and hugging their Kyo plushie, okay? So they got another show that, wasn't Dragon Ball Z, so I knew it was a pretty big deal for them. And I'm just reading the sides and totally nervous, and I want to do a good job because I'm an anime fan, and I'd been working there, but only maybe once every couple of weeks. I'd go in and do some bit parts. So I see this character named Hyono, and it says that she's crazy and high energy, so I just pick another anime character that I know of that's crazy and high energy. At the time, that was Excel from Excel Saga, and she's the most crazy character you can ever find. And so I did the audition like that, and then he's like, wow, take that back about 50%, and turns out I ended up getting the part. So I was very nervous, but I just went in there and had a good time. And I think that's kind of the key, if you can go in and just enjoy the fact that you're getting to act and it's what you love and let that show. I did not see myself here back then. That was a little over 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. No, I did not think that this is where I would be. I was just like, oh, this will be a cool job, and I'll graduate college and, whatever.
I definitely did not see myself here 2 years ago when I auditioned for Peach Girl. I'd been doing voiceover since I was young, and so this was just, I'd done some animated shows, nothing like anime, and I went in and was looking through the sides. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I can see what the characters look like. This is so exciting. I was like, wearing a dress and like had my hair fixed and whatever. Why I did that, I'm going to a booth. Nobody's going to see me, I don't know. But I went into Zach's office, and that was the other thing. They said there are 2 main females for this show, and I was like, what do they look like? And they're like, why do you care? And I was like going to try to dress kind of so that they might see me as a character. Whatever. But I gave them my headshot and resume, and Zach was like, I don't need that. I was like, okay. And I went in and like auditioned for both characters, and I was like, this is so weird. I don't think they like me. I don't think I got it. And I got a call like 2 hours later. They're like, can you come in tomorrow and start recording? Okay. So yeah, so I've been doing that. It was great. Definitely did not see myself doing. I thought maybe I'll just do one show and then they'll be like, yeah, that was enough. We don't want to see her ever again. But luckily they didn't. I'm still doing more. So
You're part of the